my friends out there, and welcome back to Real Time JC, Real Time Jesus with me, Stephanie. Today is episode 18, and the title of today's message is I Couldn't Have Planned This Road, God's Answers Through Tough Times. But first, if it is your very first time joining me today on Real Time JC, I wanted to say a big welcome to you as well. Welcome to my quiet time space right here from my bedroom in Surprise, Arizona. It is a beautiful 60-something degrees out today on November 24th, 2023, and the day after Thanksgiving. Hope you all had a wonderful day yesterday. And I'm excited because Monday starts our very first episode in our Christmas series with Real Time JC in Christmas time. I'm actually not sure what I'm going to title it, but because this one was such a simple and direct title, this series, Real Time JC in the autumn, it'll probably be Real Time JC in the Christmas time, something like that. But guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram at StephNickSteph. I will put it in the description here for this video so that you don't miss out on a single extra little snippet or episode, because not only am I going to be filming our regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday episodes, we're going to have some special guests on. And I say we because the surprise special guest and I will be also filming some lives from Facebook and Instagram, just some Christmassy things and extra support, extra encouragement, extra hope, and just celebrations of Jesus. We're going to do all of that coming up in December. So excited to journey with this Christmas season with you guys. So are you guys ready to dig in today? I am. I'm ready to dig in. So as I was having my quiet time, and you guys know that I journal every morning, I process with God all of the things that I just struggle in, or the things that I'm growing in. And then I also process just thankfulness. And so today I was writing down all of the things that I was thankful for. And yes, am I thankful for a roof over my head and food at the table? Yes, of course. But the things that I was thankful and processing through with God was for strength, for perseverance, through peace, for release. And as I was doing that, there was like a central theme going on. God brought to mind all of the twists and the turns and the unexpected hikes, I guess you could say, in 2023 and realistically, like my whole entire life. And I know that a lot of you can relate to that out there who are watching this episode today. Maybe some of you have actually just literally had some twists and turns right now. Maybe you're walking through something today, literally today, something has come up and you're waiting on an answer for God. And maybe you feel like, whew, gosh, this is not what I expected, and this is really difficult, and this one is a hard one to process. This one is I'm going to have to keep laying it down at the foot of the cross and surrendering this because I am struggling right now. I am anxious about this. It's bringing me fear of what I mean, like uncertainty. Maybe there's a relationship in your life that is not where you would have expected it to be. Maybe that person isn't being supportive of you during a very hard time in your life. Maybe it's literally like, again, like what we talked about on this last episode, the 17, like fear of, like where's my provision going to come from? And you've lost a job and suddenly you're like, whew, there it is. There's that unexpected, that twisted twist and turn. Well, guys, like an interesting thing is, and I think a lot of us out there expect that our lives with God are just going to be fine. They're going to be like awesome. And we're going to live in wonderful prosperity and nothing ever is going to happen to us. And while we're obedient, we're in obedience, we're doing our best to live a life with Christ, walking in an example, sharing that example with others, we still have things that defeat us. There's never a time in the Bible where it says that we won't walk with the twists and turns of life. There's just never ever a time. And I think that sometimes that can be defeating and that can be disappointing. But when we trust Jesus, it doesn't say that it gets rid of all of our problems. Our basic spiritual problem, our relationship with God, our relationship with God has been solved. And that is the one thing that when we accept Jesus, that when we make that choice to live a life for Christ, that is the one thing that has been solved. That is one solution that has been solved. Like our distance from God, done, solved. You never have to wonder if God is there, because he is. When we choose to live a life for Christ and we're walking in obedience with him, we're striving to be closer to him. That is something that is just there. God gives us that gift freely. But what comes with that is a whole new set of problems, in a sense, that we're going to be facing as a believer. And that's because when we accept Christ, we become a more powerful weapon against the forces of darkness, we become a powerful weapon against the enemy. And Satan knows that. He knows that. So of course, you are going to see more unexpected things happen in your life that could bring you defeat, and that Satan is going to try to use to manipulate you. And you're going to be praying and wrestling more and more often. And that's what God reminded me today. He took me to the book of Habakkuk. Say that with me, Habakkuk. I know they had such silly names back in the Ancient of Days, such silly names. Habakkuk was a prophet in the time of also Nahum, Zephaniah, and Jeremiah. So this was around the early 600s BC. And this was a time where Assyria was off the scene. And again, if you've joined me in previous episodes, we've talked a lot about Assyria and the Jonah time period. Well, this is after the time period of Jonah. But Babylon was a nation that was in power then. And they were ones that liked to invade other weaker nations. And with the kings that were in the time of Habakkuk, Josiah, Jehoiakim, these guys were kind of distracted in their relationship with God. And they were leading Judah, Israel, down the path of destruction, pretty much. And Habakkuk had warned the people of Israel of the destruction many times, and they wouldn't listen. And God had sent pestilence, he'd sent plagues. There's a number of different things that God had sent to try to help them, like warning, you're going down the wrong path. And their hearts were hardened more, and they didn't listen. And this was frustrating to Habakkuk. And so his book basically is about his wrestling time, his frustration, and his frustration with God. Like, God, I feel like you're being indifferent to me right now. I'm asking you to do these things. I'm asking you to answer this prayer, bring our country back into restoration and healing and it back into your goodness. And you're not answering me in this. Well, how many of us pray for God to bring me back into restoration, bring me back into your goodness, like stop these things from happening to me. It just seems like everything, like I'm losing my job. I've got a terrible diagnosis. My relationships are broken. I can't seem to kick this habit. I mean, whatever you're walking through, I'm just throwing out things that people are like these are things that people walk through a lot. Addiction. Relationships that are broken, serious diagnosis. I mean, just a number of things. I'm just throwing this stuff out. And yet God doesn't take away that painful thing. And so Habakkuk was like literally talking about this to God, and that's what his whole first chapter is. And then God answers him, guys. And this is what the cool thing is him answering him. So I'm going to read to you what God counsels him in. In Habakkuk 1 verse 5, and this is in the NIV version, he says, "Look at the nations and watch and be utterly amazed. For I am going to do something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told." Okay. And then he goes on to tell Habakkuk what he's going to do. And it's not what Habakkuk would want him to do, because basically what God is going to do is he's going to send the Babylonians in to just basically bring more destruction, because he wants the Israelites to turn to God instead of hardening their hearts even more. That was God's answer for Habakkuk. Is that God's answer for you? I don't know. I don't know. But what my point is in this is that the very first thing that God counsels Habakkuk in, that he tells him, is that you're going to be utterly amazed at what I'm doing right now. I'm working behind the scenes for you, for this nation, for my people. God is working behind the scenes for you right now. And he may not be answering you in the way that you would want him to, but let's read on again. I'm going to do something in your days that you would not believe. Even if you were told, something that's utterly going to be amazing. So what God is doing in my life, what God is doing in your life through the twists and the turns and the tough times, is something utterly amazing that we can't even believe, that we won't even believe. But it may not be what we're expecting, or maybe I should rephrase that, in the way that we were expecting. Isaiah 42:16 tells us this. This is the TPT. I'm going to read it to you, like I do. I'm going to read it to you also in the NIV too. But first in the TPT. I will walk the blind by an unknown way and guide them on paths they've never traveled. I will smooth their difficult road and make their dark mysteries bright with light. These are the things I will do for them, for I will never abandon my beloved ones. And in the NIV, it also says this, 42:16. I will lead the blind by ways they have not known. Along unfamiliar paths, I will guide them. I will turn the darkness into light before them and make the rough places smooth. These are the things I will do. I will not forsake them. Guys, how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? He's telling us that he will not forsake us, that he will bring the darkness into light. He will make the path smooth. And in Habakkuk, he has told us that you will be utterly amazed. This is truth. This is God speaking to us with answers through the dark times, through the tough times. We may not know the process in the way that his answers come to fruition, or how, or what the end result of. We know the end result of the fruition. That is going to be, he's bringing the darkness into light. Just, we don't know the process, but we do need to lean into him during the process. So I just wanted to encourage you today that God is going to lead you through the blazing desert. I know that's an Arizona thing, maybe, but he's going to lead you through the blazing desert to the waters of refreshing. And your journey today may not have gone exactly as you have planned. And there may be a huge kink in your plans, but what God has planned for you will be refreshing. And you will be blessed. I promise you. He promises us that you will be blessed through this time. And the things that he is learning and developing in you and in me during this time, like all of these things are for our good, because he works all things for the good of those who are called according to his purpose. And Guys, if you have accepted Christ and you've chosen to live a life for him, you have been chosen. You have been called according to his purpose. So know that he is the way maker. He is the way, he is the truth, he is the life. And today he wants to bring you life. Just keep surrendering whatever you're walking through, all of the heartache, all of the defeat, all of what feels like you're feeling destroyed. Like all of those things, keep surrendering them to the foot of the cross every moment if you have to. Every moment. Because, okay, like this is just mind-blowing to me. God, he will help you to see from a different perspective. And when you do that when he does that, it will bring you life. Because sometimes we get stuck in our perspective and we just get stuck in there. And sometimes that is defeating to us. So he will bring you to his vantage point. But sometimes those mysteries are revealed a little by a little by a little, if that makes sense. His glory will enrapture you so that you can see from his point. But remember to just keep laying it down at the foot of his cross. I know it's hard, guys. I know it's hard. But his path that he's laid out is better than what we can plan for ourselves. So just wanted to encourage you in that today and know that he is here. He is here for you. And love you all. Don't forget to subscribe and praying for you today. So much so. You are his favorite. You are his chosen. And you need to know that. And I pray blessings over you today. And I will see you next week for episode 19, starting our Christmas series. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a good day. Bye.